Good evening and welcome to Ignite News on 6 at 6. It's Friday, June 20th, 2025. I'm Rihanna Nikram. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. PP General Secretary explains that empowering ordinary Guyanese through investments and employment is a central focus of the government. The new school year begins on September 8th. Guyana's success in balancing growth with biodiversity shows development and environmental protection can coexist. And Guyana now has its first digital marketplace for certified caregivers. Empowering ordinary Guyanese through investments and employment is a central focus of the government. General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, PPP, and Vice President, Dr. Jagdeo said. Speaking at his weekly press conference on Thursday, Dr. Jagdeo emphasized that the heavy infrastructural programs, especially in Linden, are part of a broader national strategy that predates the current election season. Linden, he said, is reflective of efforts nationwide to democratize access to government contracts, particularly in the construction sector.
Last year, the road program in Linden for small contractors, we had over 500 contractors in that region, maybe close to 600, and they implemented a program of about $7 billion. And this year, it's about $10 billion with maybe 700 contractors. Small contractors who never existed in 2020 and who are all from Region 10. So those people under APNU would have never gotten any work. And they're there now. And I saw among the contractors people who were openly critical of the People's Progressive Party, who in their own government would have never gotten a contract.
He noted that contracts valued under $15 million are now allocated based on rates rather than competitive bidding, a change aimed at preventing domination by a handful of large firms. Addressing criticisms from the opposition about supposed plans they had for Linden, he pointed out that the PPC administration has already delivered where others failed. He cited the U.S. $161 million rehabilitation of the Linden-Susdike Highway and other infrastructure upgrades underway in the town. The Vice President also used the press conference to speak about his engagements with over 1,000 young people in Linden, part of the PPC's ongoing nationwide outreach.
15,000 young people are part of the youth arm of the party. And so I just had to meet with people, the young people in Linden. Many of them said, but you didn't come here as yet. So I took the opportunity being there to also engage young people. And it wasn't about promises. We didn't promise anyone anything. I just spoke of how young people are central to the People's Progressive Party's vision for Guyana.
Dr. Jagdeo urged the youth to apply for government scholarships through the GOLD program and to take advantage of free tertiary education now available at the University of Guyana. He also encouraged them to apply for house lots and explore entrepreneurship, noting the government's plan to establish a development bank to finance small businesses. The Guyana Elections Commission says on track to deliver free, fair, and transparent elections on September 1st, despite calls from some smaller parties for postponement. Deputy Chief Elections Officer Anil Giddings gave the assurance following a meeting with over a dozen political parties at GCOM's headquarters in Georgetown. From the point of view of the Secretariat, where we are with preparation, where we are with the work plan, I am confident that we will deliver a free, transparent, and credible elections, Giddings told reporters. Several small parties raised concerns about the process for forming joint lists and rotating seats among allied parties. Giddings admitted that clarity is still needed on those issues and said the Commission will provide direction. It is a matter of concern. At this point in time, we don't have the answer. Me as part of the Secretariat, I would prefer to be guided by a Commission decision and a Commission directive on this, he said. The Secretariat is now reviewing submitted election symbols ahead of the June 22nd deadline and preparing for nomination day on July 14th. More than 1,000 names of deceased persons have already been removed from the voter list. and the updated register of electors will soon be published. Giddings also confirmed the parties must now use the latest nomination forms, following confusion among some groups still using outdated versions. The meeting saw participation from representatives of 16 political parties. The Guyana Elections Commission, GCOM, has explained that its recent amendment to the nomination form required for political parties contesting upcoming general and regional elections was made to strengthen the credibility of the nomination process. In a statement, GCOM acknowledged the challenges that may arise from procedural changes so close to the September 1st poll, but maintained that the amendment falls squarely within its legal mandate and is aimed at enhancing electoral integrity. The Commission said that the revised form now requires parties to demonstrate sufficient public support across all 10 of Guyana's administrative regions. According to GCOM, the move agreed upon internally without objections was introduced to reduce the risk of abuse. The requirement applies equally to all political parties and is designed to promote fairness, transparency, and confidence in the electoral framework, the Commission said. GCOM reiterated its commitment to working with all stakeholders to ensure clarity regarding the nomination process, and that support and guidance will be available to any party requiring assistance. The Commission also thanked political parties for engaging with GCOM during a meeting on Thursday and reaffirmed its commitment to delivering inclusive, transparent, and credible elections. Guyana's national symbol, the jaguar, should not be reduced to a political brand. That's a firm message from Robert Prasad, Chairman of the National Protected Areas Commission. His statement, aimed at the Guyana Elections Commission, followed the launch of a new political party, We Invest in Nationhood, WIN, led by businessman Azruddin Mohammed. The party has adopted the jaguar as its symbol. Prasad says the jaguar is more than just a powerful animal. It represents the strength, resilience, and shared identity of the Guyanese people. According to the PAC chair, turning its national symbol into a party logo strips it of shared meaning and turns it into something small and partisan. He's urging GCOM and the wider public to protect national symbols like the jaguar from being politicized, saying they carry the weight of Guyana's history, culture, and pride. Let's honor it by keeping it where it belongs, Prasad says, with all the people of Guyana. Former People's National Congress Reform PNCR member Ronald Balkan has expressed support for what he hopes will be a new political culture as he joins Amansa Walton Desir in her newly formed political party, Forward Guyana. Walton Desir earlier this week severed ties with the PNCR after serving one term as a parliamentary representative. Balkan also tendered his resignation, ending a 2-decade-long association with the PNCR. He told Ignite News today that he believes in Walton Desir's vision and drive and is keen to offer his support in her endeavors.
At this stage, I'm offering support to Amansa in this quest of hers, which is to create a new political culture. My own feeling is Guyana has been stuck for too long, where the choices before the electorate has been, basically defined by ethnicity, and not there's not been a matter field of ideas. We just keep having, recurrent ethnic censuses.
The former PNCR member said he has always believed that votes in Guyana have largely been used as a negative tool to keep the other side out. He suggested that depending on race, citizens are held captive as prisoners of racial identity, voting not for development but to exclude the opposing side, often without focusing on the deliverables of the party receiving their support.
I think we need to break away, for Guyana to really progress and to move forward. And you can't create something positive out of a negative act. So the vote really needs to be used as a positive act. That is, you're voting for support, ideas that are in consonance with your own beliefs and aspirations.
Balkan said he supports Walton Desir's capacity to bring about change, acknowledged that the movement is untested and lacks political experience, but expressed optimism about the potential of Forward Guyana. More Ignite News ahead. Please stay with us.
The ExxonMobil Guyana Global Super League is back, and it's bigger than ever. Defending champions, Rangpur Riders, return to defend their crown. But the Warriors, the proud hosts, are ready to battle on home soil. The best from Australia, New Zealand, and the UAE join the fight for global glory. The ultimate test, the ultimate prize. It's the clash of the T20 champions. Get your tickets now at Warriors Box Office or GSLT20.com.
This is Ignite News on 6 at 6. Vice President and General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, Dr. Jagdeo, says there will be no further movement on the gas to energy monetization project until after the September 1st general and regional elections. Speaking at his weekly press conference at Freedom House yesterday, Dr. Jagdeo said the proposed deal with Turkish power company Car Powership is also being put on hold.
Right now, we are not going to conclude any arrangement with Car Power before the elections. As I said last week, I told you we are not going to have any movement on the gas monetization project before the elections, and also their signing of the prospecting licenses for the oil and gas sector before the election.
He explained that Guyana is too close to the election period to conduct these processes.
A good proposal came in from Car Power, which is that pending the completion of the gas to energy project, which is slated for mid next year, as PM said in Parliament, we can utilize the gas to generate power using a proposal that they have. So we have to, when we got the proposal, we were examining the technical feasibility, because if you generate 300 megawatts of power offshore on a barge using the gas that's already in the pipeline, basically, because it's got completed, whether we can transmit and utilize all 300 megawatts at this stage, given the state of the transmission lines.
However, he noted that regardless of the outcome, the government is not going to conclude any deal with Car Powership before the stipulated time.
Because since those two barges came in from Car Power and have been supplying the grid, we've been able to now do a lot of maintenance on the old sets. And so we have adequate power for the near term at least until past the elections. We have adequate power way past the elections.
Regarding the 50% reduction in electricity rates, Dr. Jagdeo assured that this measure will still apply.
You could still see that, but frankly speaking, I don't think it should be an election issue, right? Because if we do it today, they would say, oh, we're only doing it for the elections.
Dr. Jagdeo nevertheless gave the assurance that the project will be completed by next year.
Before then, or at the completion point, the price of electricity in Guyana will be cut by 50%, and that's a promise we made. So let me leave it at that. It could happen before, but it's also, the outside date is the completion of the gas to energy project, which is slated for June next year.
Regional and general elections in Guyana is due on September 1st, 2025. With Guyana's general and regional elections set for September 1st, schools across the country will remain closed on voting day and reopen a week later on September 8th for the Christmas term. The Ministry of Education made the announcement today. Early this week, Education Minister Chan had explained that since schools will be used as polling stations during elections, the term would be delayed. Speaking with reporters, she stressed that elections are an important democratic exercise, and the government is happy to support it by temporarily closing schools. We're happy to give up the schools for that important purpose of allowing people to exercise their will, she said. Minister Chan also assured that in previous years, schools will transition smoothly back to normal activities after the vote. One of Georgetown's most historic schools is ready to welcome students again. The brand new Christchurch Secondary School, rebuilt on its original site at Camp and Middle Streets, is putting the final touches in place ahead of the September term. The $688 million project replaces the 87-year-old building destroyed by fire in January 2023. This modern three-story facility features 20 classrooms and laboratories for science, information technology, home economics, and technical and vocational education. It is designed to serve over 500 students.
This is the new Christchurch Secondary. You may recall we had this awful experience where it was lit afire and destroyed, but out of bad cometh good. And so now we have a really beautiful, well-appointed, brand new building for our List A students. And so today we're moving in. Teachers are helping us to move in, setting up their corners and spaces, and doing that with great passion and excitement.
Following the destruction of the school in 2023, 502 students and 48 staff were displaced that have since been housed at the Cyril Porter College of Education campus in Turkine. Reconstruction involves 7 contracts and a complete redesign to meet Caribbean vocational qualification standards, ensuring every student can graduate with industry-recognized skills.
The children who were placed here are children who got 95 and 94% at NGSA. So this has always been a very good school. And we see that in the CSEC results, the CXC results. So we hope to see and expect to see even better now.
Furniture and IT equipment are now being installed, with teachers and ministry teams targeting a full handover before the September term. For Christchurch's students and for Georgetown's education landscape, the return of this grade A secondary school marks a resilient new chapter after tragedy. Felicia Duke, CEO and founder of SureGig Inc., has been named chairwoman of the Women in Energy Guyana Board of Directors for the 2025 to 2026 term. The organization announced that Duke will lead a newly appointed all-woman board featuring professionals from energy, finance, technology, and logistics. This leadership team is charged with advancing the group's mission to promote inclusion, leadership, and opportunities for women in Guyana's expanding energy sector. Dr. Natasha Gaskin-Peters has been named vice chairwoman, and Natasha Das takes on the role of Director of External Affairs. Other new appointments include Shauna Garaway as Director of Treasury and Finance, Evie Kanai Gurcharan as Director of Programs, Shanait Rayside as Board Secretary, Tariana Selby as Director of Events and Fundraising, and Omrawati Ria Silochan as Director of Membership. Women in Energy Guyana describes the new board as a dynamic team of powerhouse women, committed to driving innovation and positive impact across the sector. The organization was founded to support and elevate women professionals as Guyana's oil and gas industry continues to grow. Guyana's success in balancing economic growth with biodiversity conservation shows the world that development and environmental protection can go hand in hand. Curtis Bernard, Vice President of Conservation International Guyana, discusses achievement on United for Biodiversity, the Alliance podcast this week, highlighting the country's low-carbon development strategy, LCDS, as a key model.
The low-carbon development strategy, for me, is another step in that direction, where we're actually stepping out and demonstrating to the world. We are probably the only country, at least the only country I know of, that have put out a national development strategy that's explicitly states that we're going to be improving the way that people live, the access to resources that we have, while at the same time maintaining nature and really looking to grapple with the challenges of doing that.
Bernard explained that many countries prioritize converting natural resources into financial wealth first, addressing environmental problems later. Guyana, however, is finding ways to grow its social and capital wealth while protecting its natural capital, setting a global example.
Guyana has the opportunity through the low-carbon development strategy to look at things of how it is that we can continue our traditional sectors. We've been mining for hundreds of years in Guyana, but yet we maintain almost 90% of our forests intact. And the rest of the ecosystem, most of the rest of the ecosystems are actually intact as well, because some of that remaining ecosystem is actually one of the largest intact grasslands in northern South America, the Rupununi savannas.
He said the LCDS offers a platform to transform traditional industries and develop sustainable sectors like carbon credits, benefiting both the country and the world. Ignite News will be right back after these messages.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Fuel it up and drive. Guyana Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guyana's Super 95 gasoline.
This is Ignite News on 6 at 6. Guyana now has its first digital marketplace for certified caregivers. The Safe Haven mobile application went live today, giving families a secure way to book background-checked child care and elder care providers and pay for those services directly through Mobile Money Guyana (MMG). The platform addresses a critical gap. Nearly 60% of Guyanese households rely on informal or unpaid care, often without a safe or reliable way to hire help.
Today is a really proud moment for me and for Safe Haven team, because what you're seeing here is something that came from a very personal space. There were moments in my life when I needed help and couldn't find it. When my father needed support, we struggled to find someone experienced and reliable. When my son was born, we needed a little break from time to time, but again, the options were far and few. It became clear to me that there was a real gap in the caregiving space, and I knew we weren't the only family feeling it. That's where Safe Haven was born, from a desire to fill the gap with something safe, accessible, and built with the realities of Guyanese families in mind.
The app lists only vetted professionals. Each caregiver must clear police background checks, provide references, and upload certifications before profiles go live. Families can filter by skill, availability, and location, then confirm bookings in a few taps. For caregivers, the platform offers a formal work opportunities, digital scheduling, and cash-free payments through MMG, a first for the sector.
A major hurdle we experienced was payments. There just wasn't a user-friendly digital solution in Guyana to support this kind of service. But I'm so proud to say that after years of conversation and struggles and collaboration, we've successfully integrated MMG into the Safe Haven app. Now, clients can search for available caregivers based on their needs and schedule and complete their booking and payment securely right from their phone. The app is designed to prioritize the client's experience, while the website is built to manage caregiver onboarding and document uploads. I want to pause here to say this clearly. Safety is everything. You will never see a caregiver on Safe Haven who hasn't been properly screened.
The Safe Haven app is available in the Google Play Store and Apple App Store, while caregivers can apply and upload credentials via safehavengy.com. Developers say upcoming updates will add new care categories, training partnerships, and more government-backed job opportunities, marking a major step toward professionalizing caregiving in Guyana. Law enforcement and residents in Berbice Region 6 have taken part in multiple training exercises as the Ministerial Task Force on Trafficking in Persons, TIP, ramps up awareness and capacity building efforts. On Thursday, members from the Ministries of Home Affairs and Human Services, along with the Guyana Police Force's TIP unit, conducted a training course at the Felix Austin Police College in Adventure, Berbice. The course targeted community policing groups and officers from several police departments in Region 6. At the same time, the task force held a public awareness session at the New Amsterdam Market, educating residents on how to recognize and respond to human trafficking. These initiatives aim to empower the community and strengthen vigilance against trafficking. Guyana has been praised internationally for increasing prosecutions and rescuing victims, according to the U.S. State Department's 2024 TIP report. The task force reaffirmed its commitment to preventing trafficking, protecting victims, and pursuing justice through ongoing education, enforcement, and community engagement. In sports, the Massey Women's Caribbean Premier League, or WCPL, will hold its official player draft show for the 2025 season this Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Caribbean time. Fans across the Caribbean and worldwide can watch live on the CPL's official YouTube and Facebook pages, where the squad lineups for the Barbados Royals, Guyana Amazon Warriors, and Trinbago Knight Riders will be revealed. The show will be hosted by Alex Jordan, with expert analysis from cricket veterans Darren Ganga and Nikhil Uttamchandani. The 2025 tournament runs from September 6th to 17th at the Guyana National Stadium in Providence. It will feature 6 group matches, followed by a final to crown the champions. With a mix of experienced players and rising stars, the drought promises to set the stage for an exciting women's T20 season in the Caribbean. Shubman Gill marked his debut as India's Test captain with a classy century, while Yashasvi Jaiswal added a brilliant 100 of his own, as England struggled on the opening day of the first Test at Headingley. Following retirements of Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, India's next generation stars showed they're ready to lead. The visitors closed on 359 for 3, with Gill unbeaten on 127 and Rishabh Pant supporting him with 65 not out. Their partnership is already worth 138. Jaiswal, who had tormented England 18 months ago in India, struck a sharp 101, punching rearward bowling and proving once again he's a rising force. According to the BBC, England's decision to bowl first on a hot, flat pitch raised eyebrows. Ben Stokes later admitted he would still have chosen to field, but England failed to make the most of the swing available, with Stokes himself the pick of the bowlers at 2 for 43. Headingley has seen many comebacks, and England aren't out of this test, but with rain forecast later in the match, they've led themselves with a steep climb against a confident India side and a looming threat of Jasprit Bumrah. Ignite News will be right back after these messages. This is Ignite News on 6 at 6. Regionally, passenger traffic between Trinidad and Venezuela is on the decline. That's according to travel agents and ferry operators, who say fewer people are using the once busy route through the port of Cedros in Trinidad and Tobago. According to the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, only 2 boats are currently running from Tusupita, Venezuela to Cedros, and neither is filling up. One ferry, the Angel del Orinoco, which can carry 35 passengers, recently made a trip with 27. The manager of the vessel, Alana Medina, says the drop in traffic started even before Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Bisesar's statement, suggesting that the Coast Guard could use deadly force against unidentified vessels entering from Venezuela. Venezuelan national Cherry George, who has lived in Trinidad for 50 years, regularly travels back to visit family. He says the Prime Minister's comments caused fear and uncertainty in his community. His journey costs about $2,500 and takes 3.5 hours round trip. Travel agent Rakesh Albert says legal travel is still happening, but only with valid passports and visas. While he agrees the PM remarks may have caused confusion, he believes the bigger issue is economic hardship. Albert is calling for policy changes to make safe, legal travel between the countries easier and more accessible. Finally, in international news, a U.S. appeals court has ruled in favor of President Donald Trump, allowing him to maintain control of California's National Guard amid ongoing legal challenges from Governor Gavin Newsom. This decision extends a pause on an earlier ruling by U.S. District Judge Charles Breyer, who found that Trump had unlawfully taken control of the Guard without proper coordination and ordered him to return control to the governor. Newsom filed a lawsuit after Trump deployed National Guard troops and 700 Marines to Los Angeles to manage anti-immigration protests, a move the governor called unlawful. Yesterday, the San Francisco-based Ninth Circuit Court said Trump likely acted within his authority and probably coordinated with Newsom, despite the governor's objections. However, the court made clear it is not ruling on what the federalized troops are permitted to do, and Newsom can still challenge their use under other laws. The governor responded on social media stating, "The president is not a king and is not above the law." He plans to continue his legal fight at the hearing scheduled for Friday. Trump welcomed the decision, calling it a great decision for our country and promising to protect law-abiding Americans. The case centers on whether Trump violated federal law by taking control of the National Guard with all proper coordination, and whether conditions for federalizing the troops, such as rebellion, actually existed. European foreign ministers are doubling down on diplomacy, but Iran says it won't negotiate under fire. Today in Geneva, ministers from Britain, France, and Germany, known as the E3, along with the EU's top diplomat, are urging Iran to come back to the table. Their message: the United States is open to direct talks, even as it weighs joining Israeli airstrikes aimed at crippling Iran's nuclear facilities. But Iran's foreign minister Abbas Araghchi is standing firm, telling state television earlier that Tehran will not speak with Washington until what it calls Israeli aggression ends. The diplomatic push comes as pressure mounts on Iran to show it's serious about limiting its nuclear program, a key condition for easing sanctions and avoiding further escalation. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has spoken with several Western leaders ahead of today's meeting. And while the U.S. hasn't confirmed any plans for direct talks, CNN is quoting a senior official who says President Trump supports Europe's efforts to revive diplomacy. Separate U.S.-Iran talks collapsed early this month when Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a series of strikes targeting Iran's nuclear and ballistic infrastructure. And that's all for this edition of Ignite News on 6 at 6. For more stories, visit ignitenews.com or follow us on social media. Thanks for watching. I'm Rihanna Nikram. See you next time for more Ignite News.